I'm sure you know what makes it different. Just the attention, just the hype. Pakistan's a good side now. In the middle, they dropped a bit. I have played against a great Pakistan side, but then maybe a period after that, they dropped as a team, and I think now they have some quality players. So they will be up for the challenge with India. The record in World Cups has been very Indian-sided, with wins and wins, except probably the last time in Dubai. But I think this Pakistan team is strong, and they will challenge India. India is a very strong team, but as I said, it'll be a much closer competition than what it used to before.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the Delhi Capitals podcast. My name is Suprita Das and I'm not going to waste any time introducing our guest on the podcast today because he really needs no introduction. Dada, thank you so much for giving us time. I know we have not a lot of time, so let's dive straight in. You've spent so many decades in cricket, multiple roles, still very much into it, thick of things. What about being a part of cricket still excites you today? Being a part of a dressing room or, setting foot on the field? Oh,
I just love it. I love the sport. So it'll be very difficult for me to say one thing. What? I think it's everything. When I started as a young boy at the age of 13, I did not know I'll play for India. Forget about captaining India. And then went past those hurdles, then went into different aspects of the sport. Was at the highest level there and just the challenge. The game has evolved a lot from when I started. It's evolved enormously. It's a completely different world cricket is in India at the moment. It was popular then as well, but now it's just gone to another level. So I think it's that contest which excites me. Obviously, my role was different at that time because I was playing. I actually could make a difference, score hundreds with the bat, take 5 wickets with the ball, and make a difference to cricket matches. But obviously now the role is different. You get teams ready, you get players ready to perform. So I think the challenge is even bigger now, even more now and more difficult now because you yourself can't make a difference.
Yeah.
But I actually enjoy it and I think it's that competitiveness of the sport which still keeps me going.
Like you said, you can't yourself go out and do it. You're not in that position any longer. So when you are in the dugout, like you were during, this IPL season, what was it like? Were there moments, and it wasn't a great season, to put it in a mild way. Were there moments when you felt like, I just want to pad up. Can I just put my gloves on and just walk out there? Or maybe send Ricky in or something?
No, I don't think so. So. You understand that. I came into this franchise in 2019 and they started doing well. I became president after that, president of the board, and left them a year later. When I came in 2019, it was not a great result for a long period of time. And I think with me, Ricky, and the players, most importantly players, we turned it over. Unfortunately, this year wasn't well. It's an understatement saying that it wasn't well. It was very disappointing. But I think that's what sport is. It took Messi 36 years of his life to win a World Cup, somebody of his stature and brilliance and caliber. So, and I think that's the challenge of sport. That's what it challenges, and that's why it is so exciting. That's why, there's no hard and fast rules to it. You just have to keep trying. You win one, you start from scratch the next day and win the other one. So that's why we are in here so early this part, and I've made sure that I give all my time to get this team back on track. I have so many things to do in my life, but all have gone to the backstage. And I said that, my biggest responsibility is to turn this team around so that come April, come May, come June, all of us here, including the players and the staff, we can smile at Firuzshah Kotla. And I think that's important for me.
I knew a football reference was going to come in very early in the conversation. When you said your biggest responsibility is to turn things around for this franchise, would you say that is currently your vision? And There's not one, there's 2 teams now. There's the men and the women.
The women's did well last year. Yes. I thought the women's were exceptional. Obviously, my role with the men's is a lot deeper. And because I spend all the time during the IPL and pre-IPL actively being involved in it. With the women's, I set it up. And I think that's how that much my responsibility should be, because it's different environment and there are great people there, Jonathan, Lisa, 𝐃𝐀𝐃𝐀. So there are people who are looking after them, and they played exceptionally well last year. So I restrict my role to a certain stage with the women's, but with IPL, I'm absolutely hands-on. And I think there's no bigger tournament in the world at the moment. And yes, obviously playing for the country is a lot bigger. Representing India in the World Cups is a lot bigger. But in terms of franchise cricket, there's nothing bigger than the IPL. And I think it is my aim and a challenge for me. Ricky lives in Australia. It's a bit more difficult for him because he goes away, and it's different from me being here, getting access to a lot of things, being able to organize a lot of things. So for me, it's something very close to my heart. And as I said, come April, May, June, all of us who are involved, we want to see happy days for DC again.
We do. Touch wood. Like you said, Ricky is in Australia, and therefore it's not always possible for him to be as involved or hands-on as you are. But during the off-season now, for instance, have you all been in touch?
Yeah.
You exchange notes?
Yeah, I'm in touch with Ricky, James, David, every alternate day. Our biggest challenge for us is to get the squad right.
Right.
It's not like picking an Indian team that you have 24 best players available all the time. IPL works differently, and I think that's it. That's why it's even a bigger challenge to get things in place, and that's what I'm looking for. By January, February, we should have the squad ready, which I believe will help us to do well.
Have you also been in touch and keeping track of how Rishabh's been progressing with his recovery?
I speak to him. It was very unfortunate what happened. I think a lot of our team last year was built around him, and then he just got injured after the auction. And that made a big hole in the squad. I wish speedy recovery for him. I keep track. Everybody says that he will be available for the next IPL, and fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, absolutely. You just mentioned, how the IPL is the biggest tournament in terms of franchise cricket. If you look at the FTP now, it is so crowded. I feel it's hectic, just like, by the side of it.
It's very hectic. But
would you ever wanted to have, play cricket in this era?
No, we played as much, except that IPL wasn't there.
Yeah.
And we played as much cricket, I played 113 tests and 311 one-day matches, plus the practices, warm-ups, side games, Ranji Trophy matches, first-class matches. So I don't think international cricket has become more hectic than before. It's just this franchise cricket which is added to it.
Yeah.
And made the players even busy. But as I said, I think franchise cricket has done a lot of good because only 15 can play for the country. But what this franchise cricket has done is made living a possible for many who are not probably at the best to play for the country and still do well. So I see it as a blessing.
Yeah.
For me, it may be a lot of cricket, but so be it. I really don't have a problem with it.
Amidst all the franchise cricket, of course, this is a World Cup year, and the World Cup's back in India after 2011. Your thoughts on Indian cricket as you see, today?
It's a very strong team.
Yeah.
It's a very strong team. I keep reading media reports, how the team has not won a World Cup in the last how many years, but you don't win World Cups all the time. They went to the finals in 2017, semi-finals after that, but that's the way World Cup is. We are a country where everybody has an opinion. Every loss creates 100 opinions. And I think that's the biggest challenge for Rahul and Rohit and the squad is to keep themselves away from all this ups and downs and all these evaluations for a period of time. And I'm sure they're going to put that behind. It's a tremendous side. Look at the players. Jaiswal, Surya, Rohit, Virat, Bumrah's back fit, Mohammad Shami. It's a side which will always be a contender.
Yeah.
My only request for them is to just go and play without any fear. Play freely. Don't worry about what criticism is and what they write about you and how they think about you. It doesn't matter. What matters is those 20 people together. And I'm sure Rahul, who's been a champion in his playing days, will find a way to get this team back on track and win a World Cup.
Do you still exchange notes with him?
No, I don't disturb him that much.
When you were board president,
I
you
did.
took on as coach, and then of course, VVS Lakshman was heading NCA and was like the Gathbandhan of Indian cricket's back.
Yeah, I do. I did when I was president.
Yeah.
As a part of the job, but once I'm done with president, I don't interfere too much.
That cap is off.
That's off, and I just wish him all the best.
When the World Cup comes around the corner, so much is spoken about India, Pakistan, and why it just stands apart. You've been a part of the contest. So many of them. So being on ground, what makes it stand out from any other contest?
You can see it. I'm sure you know what makes it different. Just the attention, just the hype. Pakistan's a good side now. In the middle, they dropped a bit. I have played against a great Pakistan side, but then maybe a period after that, they dropped as a team, and I think now they have some quality players. So they will be up for the challenge with India. The record in World Cups has been very Indian-sided, with wins and wins, except probably the last time in Dubai. But I think this Pakistan team is strong, and they will challenge India. India is a very strong team, but as I said, it'll be a much closer competition than what it used to before.
You want to pick your last 4 for the competition?
That's a tough question. You give me 5, not 4. England, Australia, India, Pakistan. England, Australia, India, Pakistan. And I'll never put New Zealand out of the group. So they somehow find ways to get to the finals of big tournaments in New Zealand.
Yeah. I know we're very short on time. We will close this soon. I wanted to just ask you, Dada, there's so much you do. All your involvement with cricket. You stay busy with all your other activities. I know every time I go home to Calcutta, you on the billboards all the time. My mother and I watch Dadagiri, big fans. How do you keep up? You had a little bit of a health scare also some time back, taking care of yourself. And now that your daughter's also away, I know that's something that sort of, you miss her around. How do you keep up with everything and all the work that keeps you busy so much?
Yeah, I manage time. And let's be honest, I manage time, but it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
As you know, as they grow up, you have to let them go.
Yeah.
She's just going to be a graduate in a week's time. And I'll be up there for a convocation in the first week of September.
Nice.
That's what it is. She just now called before we came into this podcast that she appeared for an interview, and I asked how it went. She said I had a lot of seniors. And it is fantastic to see a young boy and a girl grow.
Yeah.
The world is different from yours and mine.
Wow.
They want to see the world. They are vibrant. She lives in the apartment alone. I said, how do you do it?
Imagine.
I said, I can't do it. She says, you are timid. I said, no, I'm not timid, but and she enjoys it.
Yeah.
And I tell her, I'll send somebody to stay with you, send a maid, mom can go. She doesn't want anybody. She cooks, she leads her life, she goes to college, friends. And they actually, when you see them, you realize that, they are a source of energy to you. How they look the world differently, and I miss her obviously, but then you have to let them go.
Yes. We will let you go after a very quick rapid fire. So I'm just going to start that straight away. Your favorite cricketer growing up?
Sachin.
Of course. Your favorite current cricketer?
I have a couple. I think Kohli is one. I like Joe Root as well. So I think these two.
A current cricketer who reminds you the most of yourself?
Most of myself. Left-handers around the world. That's a tough question. England, Australia. I like David Warner a lot, but he's different.
Very.
Not the way I played. He's a bit different.
Okay, we're
it's a tough question. Yeah, I'm struggling with this actually.
Okay, let me move on to the next one. There's a WhatsApp group with all the cricketers you played with. Who in that group would be sending good morning forwards every single day?
None. They're too busy.
Okay. Which of them would be reacting and responding to every single message?
I think myself.
Okay. Who would be the least responsive?
Yuvraj Singh. I get answers every 3 weeks.
Okay. Who would be making all the catch-up plans?
You hardly meet them. They're all in different parts of the country.
Yeah.
They're all on their own world, own trips. See them on Instagrams. One playing golf, one in the jungles of Africa, one dancing in Switzerland. So you see them on Instagram.
Okay. And who will be the first one to leave the group because he just doesn't believe in WhatsApp chats?
Dravid.
Okay. You have to invite 3 cricketers over for dinner from the past or the present. Who would you invite?
Sachin. Bhaji. And Yajuvendra Chahal. I find him very funny.
That's an interesting person to put in the mix. Okay. A current cricketer who could do your shirt flinging from the Lord's balcony the best.
Hardik Pandya.
Nice. A superstition from your playing days?
I put my left back first.
Yeah, that's a known one. Do you watch OTT?
Little bit.
Okay. Do you want to tell us what you're watching now or something you like?
I'm not watching anything now.
Okay.
I just watched Rocky and Rani Ki Prem Kahani and I loved it. I watched the Tom Cruise film as well.
Yeah.
Sana was back home, so I should take her out for movies.
Yeah.
But Ranveer Singh and Ale was brilliant.
Amazing. One piece of advice you'd give your younger self?
Play the sport every day. Because once it goes away, it never comes back. Although I did and I played as much as I could. But, playing days are the best days.
The very last one, the one piece of advice Sana keeps giving you.
And I need to chill.
You don't chill enough?
I don't. I'm too much after a bike. Don't do this, don't do that, be careful of this, be careful of that. So I think she needs a dad who needs to back off a bit.
Wow. Dada, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
And we look forward to seeing you around and an episode 2 also.
Yes, sure. Of course.
Come
of course.
IPL. Thank you so much.
Hopefully by then we'll win one of the IPLs and we'll have a blast.
Fingers crossed. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.